Astrology. Now, this week we are moving into a full moon in Aries in Bharani Nakshatra. This is a very potent full moon, and it's a moon that really relates to things that need to end, deaths, transformation of what has expired, and it really represents that place between destruction and creation that I almost want to say like third stage of life. And it can be a period where there's something you need to mourn and let go of. And there's a big focus in that moon around relationships, something that you're letting go of, a way of thinking, a way in which you were seeing a partner or yourself as the ultimate partner, that's ready to be released and burnt away. I'll talk about more of that as we go through the weekly astrology. This is also going to be our final full week of Mercury Retrograde Shadow. So, if you haven't been journaling, if you haven't been writing down the big themes coming forward in communication, even the ex partners that are turning up, the old family members that are maybe resurfacing, or friends that are reaching out, it's not about who those people are, but they're starting to show you the themes and the topics that you're going to be dealing with when Mercury stations retrograde next week on the 9th to 10th. I've put a video, just kind of an explainer on Mercury retrograde, what it means in Vedic astrology below. But if you want to dive deeper, both into that full moon and Mercury retrograde, the current ritual and reading includes a personal written reading for Mercury retrograde coming, as well as for the full moon in Bharani Nakshatra. Details are below. Finally, the thing I want to mention, and probably like the biggest energy we're going to be feeling this week in and amongst the full moon, is Mars's opposition with Uranus. They will start opposing each other as of yesterday, Saturday. They'll kind of like move into this really tight opposition until the 19th. It's going to peak this week though, and it can bring some unexpected conflict, some even like unexpected actions, things that happen, events that happen out of the blue, like accidents. So being really careful with yourself and your body. Um, and even actions that you might take offense to or feel like you have to go on the defense about. And really, part of the learning of Mars's opposition with Uranus is giving yourself the space to see both sides of the story, giving yourself space to see how everything, even when you disagree with it, is a play of the divine. It's all there for enlightenment, and it literally is a checkmate. I'll talk more about that in a second. So let's start with today's astrology, Sunday, the 2nd of November. The moon today, and the moon is really important whenever we're looking at daily astrology because it represents the quality of our minds, like how we are processing the world around us, how almost like the color of the lenses that we're using today. And the moon is moving from Aquarius to Pisces, and it's going to be in the Nakshatra Purvabhadrapada. The moon is going to also be sitting with the North Node and Saturn today. So, first up, you can find there's a bit of overthinking that happens today, some ruminating, even within that, like kind of the rumination that's happening, but also the ability to really feel inspiration and big ideas that want to be channeled through you. I would be saying just notice where you're feeling a little bit too up in your head, where it almost feels like you're slightly detached from the body. And that can even manifest as not being sure how to put those ideas into action, not even sure of like what a plan would look like to take that inspiration down. Just know that whatever comes to you, thanks to Saturn, there's no rush to bring it about. There's no rush to act on it. You can even just sit with it, consider it, see how it, try and bring it into the body and see how it feels. Um, this can be a time with Saturn where you're called to be a little bit more considered in your thinking today. It might be that like things just feel a bit slow within the head. But also that you have really good discernment with your intuition, because this energy, the energy of this moon moving from Aquarius to Pisces, it's very mystical, it's very spiritual. And Saturn there can actually call for you to see how you need to support yourself within your day to day world. It can kind of bring you back down to reality. And you can find as a part of that, if this is a day where you've been pursuing something that isn't for your highest good, energy will be redirected. What is beautiful is that Jupiter, the guru of the zodiac, is going to be aspecting this moon. So it's calling out those divine qualities. It's helping you see the beauty that lies within you. And it can bring a lot of luck, insight, creative energy, and a sense of optimism. And the beauty of Saturn sitting there is Saturn is going to help you discern what is ego from what is divine. Now, also happening on Sunday, Venus is entering Libra. She's returning back to a home, or one of the signs that she rules, which will feel nice. She is the other guru of the zodiac, the tantric guru. And she's going to be in Libra until the 26th of November. So we've got a good run with her. While she's in Libra, she's going to be aspecting Chiron, the wounded healer. And this is really important because it means that we're going to be in this place of growth in relationships, this place of being called to see how we're really showing up for others and for ourselves. She'll also be aspecting the sun during this period of time. So there can be this energy of like needing to burn through old abandonment wounds, old hurts, and things that you're still kind of sore about from relationships. There's a sense of renewal, of purity wanting to come through. This is a period really of balancing relationships. It's calling, Venus is really calling for you to see both sides of the story, to be a little bit more diplomatic in how you've been handling intimate business relationships and even just soul contracts, as well as finding some time just to luxuriate in the beauty of the world. You know, doing something beautiful, finding beautiful things in your life and appreciating those. That said, it's also a time, a period of working through the karmic balance in relationships. And this is going to be really big with the full moon that's coming, as she's the ruler of this full moon. While she's aspecting the sun, so she's going to be aspecting the sun until the 15th of November, there can be a sense of new beginnings in relationships, new ways that you're understanding the dynamics that have been at play, and even new connections that decide to pop into your life. Her opposition to Chiron can really bring up old woundings, a sense of abandonment, particularly childhood abandonment coming up. That is being evoked through your partnerships at the moment. You know, things like the fear of being alone, of expressing your anger, of really like truly being who you are, and the fear of being rejected by another person for being that. She's going to be in a part of Libra called Chitra until the 8th, so until the end of this week. So it's going to have a slightly different vibration to the rest of her time in Libra. So just to the end of this week with Venus, I'd be saying you can find that there's a focus on channeling this Libra energy into creating new things, into expressing beauty, and also into being really, really honest in your partnerships if you've been holding that back. Being courageous enough to tell the truth, to say how you really feel. And that really starts with you being honest with seeing maybe where you're stuck in partnerships, where there isn't support, where it doesn't feel right. Also, pay attention with this move with your own health and well being. You can find, just because of the position of the moon and the position of Venus, particularly on Sunday, you just need to give yourself a little extra care. Make sure that you're really prioritizing your own well-being and the relationship you have with yourself, understanding that that is the one that will last. Monday, the 3rd of November, the moon will be in Pisces for the entirety of the day. It will be in Saturn, we be with Saturn like it was yesterday, and Neptune and Ceres, and it will be aspecting Jupiter and Chiron. So well, Jupiter will be aspecting this moon, making this energy dreamy, mystical, inspired, as well as bringing up some fear around what it would mean to fully trust your intuition, to fully dive into what you know. And you might find that part of that fear is like the fear of being judged by other people, the fear of actually really having to back yourself, and even the fear of getting lost in that energy. You can find that you're very sensitive to people today on Monday. And not just to people around you, but to energy in general. If you have Pisces placements, or you know you have your moon in Pisces in Vedic or sidereal astrology, this can feel even more intense than usual. So really, we want to just take care of ourselves, make sure that if we are going to be in situations where we're going to be absorbing a lot of energy, that there's also self-care. Also knowing it is not your responsibility to hold that energy for other people. Now, the moon will be moving from Uttara Bhadrapada to Revati, which is the final sign of the nakshatras, which you'll feel more tomorrow and like this evening. But this moon today can, a bit like yesterday, present you with new ideas, new beginnings, like that come from that mystical Piscean energy from the etheric realm. It's like planting you new ideas, giving you inspiration, and even spurring you on to create some structure around your intuition and ideas. But again, no, it's not a rush to do these things. It's more moving at a considered pace. The world is not going to be any better or worse because this thing comes off the ground or it doesn't. Externally, you might find that the moon in this position brings rain, or you can find within you that there's this like call to plant seeds, and that might actually involve gardening for some of us. But internally, it's like the call for a seed to be planted, for an idea to be planted, which is really important to the foundations of our life, to what you're building towards for the long term. As Jupiter, which I really, really like, is going to continue to aspect the moon, it can feel really expansive. It can bring a really open mind. It can make it very like the call to sing, to poetry, to dance, to express yourself in creative manners can be heightened. Even if you're not someone that really is feels they're creative or artistic, this can bring that. There can also be this desire within the mind to learn something new, and that might mean engaging in new studies today. It's also going to aspect Mercury and Mars. So there's also this energy of being able to say what's needed, being able to act with integrity, and even being able to think further out into the future, thinking not just for now, but like what is to come. What seeds am I planting for the future? On Tuesday, the 4th of November, the moon will move into Revati, the final nakshatra of Pisces. It will move there in the evening in Australia. Australian Eastern Standard Time, it will be around 6:05 p.m. In Rome, it will be at the start of the day at 8:05, and in New York at 2:05 a.m. on Tuesday. Um, then, while it's in this final nakshatra, it will then move into Aries. So it's in this energy of Gandanta. It's sitting between. It's moving from what was, I should say, actually, the moon will be in Revati the entire day. Sorry, for Australia, Rome, and New York. It's moving into Ashwini at 6:05 p.m., at 8:05 a.m. in Rome, and 2:05 a.m. in New York. And as it moves from Pisces to Aries, we're really in a Gandanta position. There's an inner karmic knot that's coming up on Tuesday. The need to let go of how things have been, to embrace what is coming, to embrace what is present. And just notice you can feel quite fragile because the moon on Tuesday is going to be passing over Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is in retrograde. He's just gone back into Revati, into Pisces, and the moon is going to be swinging past it as she enters Aries. And it can bring up a lot of loneliness, a lot of self doubt, even the sense of not being enough, and kind of like old stories that the mind is replaying within you. And you might be like, where did that come from? It's like the mind is trying to sort out where it belongs, who it is, what its identity is, and looking for those stories in order to find identity. That all said, the ruler of Revati, which is Mercury, sitting 9 houses away. So a lot of this energy, you might find a lot of that abandonment energy can be stirred up around the father, around the grandfather, around ancestral energy, around the masculine in your life, even the teachers in your life, almost this sense of like, I'm not good enough for what they expect of me. You can find that there's a desire to really sit with this, to expand from it, to learn from it, to allow it to be your teacher so that it can be released. Now, as the moon moves into Aries, into Ashwini Nakshatra on Tuesday, is really about this new cycle beginning. So Tuesday's like you've got your foot in the old and your foot in the new. And it's really as the moon moves into Aries, things can speed up where they've been really slow for the rest of the week, for the beginning of the week. It can bring up a lot of thinking about the future, what will be, thinking about your self expression. If you have children, a lot of energy focused on that. even what you want to create, what you want to receive, what you're owed. And you might find that Tuesday towards the evening in Australia, but in the morning in Rome and the morning in America or in New York, actually brings some very good fortune. It can lead to the healing of a relationship through that Gandanta, through that karmic knot that's come up, to the healing of the relationship with yourself, with your inner child, with your children, to something you have created around you, almost finding peace once again with that. Now, Mars is going to be trine Neptune on Tuesday perfectly. So, actions are inspired. This is about moving from your intuition, allowing it to guide you, and it can be very, very, very strong today. It's like not thinking through how you're going to act, but letting your intuition guide you. And even you can find you get like sneak peeks of the future or hints and really strong nudges from the universe of how you need to act. Mars, while it's sending this beautiful energy to Neptune, is going to be sitting with the Black Moon Lilith. So it feels like this inspired action can be highly unconventional. It'll also be sitting with Mercury. So it can also be something where it's about talking about an idea, expressing an idea, acting on writing things down, sharing them with others. It's also going to be in harmony with Jupiter. Like, oh, amazing. So just know that this inspired action, which might even feel very, very small, can have incredible impact on the people around you, even though the mind can be in a lot of tension on Tuesday. Wednesday, the 5th of November, the moon is in Aries. It's moving from Ashwini to Bharani. This is where the full moon is going to occur. So Wednesday, we're really in the Titi, the full moon timing. The full moon energy is peaking on Wednesday. The moon is going to be aspecting Venus, who rules Bharani. And so there's a lot of energy that can be coming up on Wednesday around partnership, soul contracts, endings, death, transformational energy related to relationships that's playing out. It can make Wednesday a very intense day where there is a call to let go of something in a relationship. Even like the call to let go of something that you think should be fair that isn't fair, or something you've been ruminating on that, like, it's just done. Like, you have to bring that to an end because it is not bringing peace. So this is a day where it's almost like death to that, so that there can be space, there can be greater harmony and peace. There can also be intense creativity, passion that comes with that energy. So just know that. Now, Mars also on Wednesday, this is a big one, is going to be opposed Uranus. I mentioned this at the start of the weekly forecast. They perfectly oppose each other. So not only is the full moon building, but we have this explosive energy of Mars, which is the god of war, and Uranus, which brings unexpected events. And I'm not saying there's going to be war. I'm saying, like, war is continuously within us. It's not something that has ever ended yet. But this is really, it can bring explosive news, actions, accidents. And the two are going to be dancing together until the 19th. And we've been feeling it since the beginning of the week. So it kind of peaks today, but you might not feel it until the 19th as well. Mars is being aspected by Jupiter. So I feel like this is something big, something small that creates something very, very, very large and has big ripple effects across the collective. I would be saying personally, this is Wednesday's a day, even with the moon in Aries, even with all this like impulsive energy at play, try to be considered in your actions. Slow things down. Tune into your intuition. If it's saying don't do that, don't do it. Follow what feels right. Um, and if you're rushing, just ask yourself why. That said, I will say that Mars, like, even though there's all that, Mars is going to be in harmony with Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter, as I said. So it feels like in a collective level, what pops up might be unexpected, or there might be an accident that happens that actually has something for the greater good, for the greater evolution of the collective at play. Yes. So Thursday, the 6th of November, we have the full moon in Bharani. The moon will be in Aries all day, moving from Bharani to Kritika around midday in Sydney, which means it will be there for the entire day in New York and in Rome. Now, the full moon energy is really focused on Wednesday. That's when most of us will be experiencing it. It will peak on Thursday for some countries. If you are feeling that energy building this week, check out the ritual and reading below to help you with that, as well as Mercury retrograde. Now, as the moon moves into Kritika, which is part of Aries, you can find that Thursday is a day which is there's a lot of discernment. The mind is just wanting to cut things away, like maybe from the death that came about with that full moon. Now the mind has the courage to just be like, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. These things aren't working. Let's remove them. It's very discerning, very sharp mind. Um, and it can make sense of what's going on. It can help you see, like I said, what you need to remove, what needs to be burnt through, particularly in partnerships, in how you give, in how you receive, and in your contractual agreements. It can be a very fiery day, so be very careful of your anger, where it can be very easy to be impulsive, and we want to slow that down because of the opposition with Mars and Uranus. And it can help on the back of the full moon, like this, where this can help is that with Bharani, whatever it was that you were releasing, letting go, whatever was expired, whatever was dying with that full moon, it's helping you discern what was going on, helping you make sense of it, helping you move forward. The sun on Thursday is going to enter Vishaka Nakshatra. It will be in Libra, moving into Scorpio around the 15th of November, but it will be in Libra, the Libra part of Vishaka, and well, until then. Yeah. It will be in Vishaka Nakshatra until the 20th of November. And you can find, I would be saying, particularly from Thursday through to the 15th of November, while it's in the Libra part of Vishaka, it's a time to really focus, to not expect immediate results. It feels like that's a big theme of this week. As much as you want to be impulsive and get things done, it's like the universe is putting a lot of pressure on, like slowing things down, being considered, trusting the divine's timing and what is happening. This sun moving into Vishaka is like, don't expect immediate results. And just notice as well where old unfulfilled desires pop up, particularly related to relationships, things you think you want or you need that are perpetuating actually a bit of suffering in the relationships that you're in. This can actually be a really beautiful period of time while the sun is in the Libra part of Vishaka, where it feels like your effort is being rewarded. And that's because Jupiter rules Vishaka and Jupiter is currently exalted. So it should feel really nice. And Jupiter will be aspecting the moon. So there can be this really big focus on future planning, on this sense of adventure, on planning travels, on a call to travel, to study, to learn, to expand your horizons, but for the long term, not for the short. It's almost like you're planting seeds for a bigger expansion than just doing something impulsively that won't be pulled off because of the where the sun is. I would be saying as well, this is quite an auspicious day. Regardless of the tense energy, it's quite an auspicious day for travel, for teaching, for studying something new, because the sun is entering Vishaka, which is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter rules Thursday, today, when it will happen. Now, Thursday, the 7th of November, the moon is moving into Taurus. This is going to be some really nice relief after the full moon, particularly if you're feeling a little bit unsettled. The moon's exalted in Taurus, and so it will really allow the mind to be grounded, to find some solid practical outcomes from the energy of Wednesday, Thursday, kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Um, it can help really, like I said, it can help you just make sense and find some inner stability. The moon's going to be with Uranus aspecting Mars and Mercury. So you can find there are things that still rock you today. There's still like actions or words spoken that are still like having ripple effects, but there's an ability to ground yourself in what's going on. And it might be you that is the one that is acting, that is the one that is doing things a little bit more unexpected, that is willing to make some changes. The best way to play Friday is really to focus on yourself, not compare what you're doing to anyone else. And you might even find the unexpected happens to you today to actually open you up to a new path to follow. It doesn't have to be anything big, it can be quite small. Now, what's also really cool is, Friday is ruled by Venus and the moon is going to be in Taurus, which is Venus's sign, and she'll be exalted. So, again, some really beautiful energy in and amongst the shifts and the changes that are going on. Added to that, one of my favorite aspects this week will be playing out on Friday, which is Jupiter's trine to the black moon Lilith. This is like Jupiter and Durga working in harmony. It's expansive, it's radical, it brings radical action, particularly at a collective level, around the idea of whose homeland is whose, who belongs where. This feels like a really big topic, very divisive topic in the collective at the moment. And Jupiter and the Black Moon Lilith working together are helping to put some radical truth into what is being discussed, into the actions that governments are taking around that, and even into the idea that we all belong everywhere, that land is not exclusive to one person, that we are the land, we are nature. And so there can be this radical, fierce energy, this kind of like warrior mama energy, the call to step forward, to follow what is dharmic, to protest, and to have conversations with radical truth and love and taking action from that place. Saturday, the 8th of November, the moon is going to be moving from Taurus to Gemini. She's going to be in Mrigashira. So we're finishing the week with a lot of this kind of like searching mindset. You might find that on Saturday you've lost something that you need to find. You might find that you're researching, or that the mind's just like, I need to know more about this topic. Or you go down a black hole, like research hole on Wikipedia or on the internet, like learning about a topic. It's the mind like is so stimulated by new ideas today. It's not about finding an answer. It just wants more information. It wants to research. So just be careful. Like, you're not going to get the idea today, but you'll be given the mindset to research, to look, to be really curious. And the mind can be pretty restless. Like, it's looking for answers. The thing the mind never realizes is that the answer is within. It's never outside of itself. Added to that, Saturday is going to be Ganesh's day. It's the fourth the fourth day of the lunar fortnight. So it is the time, if you know the Ganesh mantra, if you want to learn it, details are below. This is your day to use it to help remove obstacles from your life, particularly if there are still obstacles, still energy at play from that full moon. This is a time to call upon the help of the divine to help you release, to help you have victory over the obstacles in your life, to realize where you might be the obstacle in your life as well. Now, I mentioned Venus earlier, about Venus entering Libra. Now, Venus is going to enter the next nakshatra in Libra, Swati, on Saturday as well. And she'll be there till the 18th of November, all in Libra for this entire time, but it's going to change her energy. So it's going to add to the relationship energy of the week. And there can be a bit of overthinking during this time. Like Venus in Swati, there can be a lot going on up here. A lot of ruminating, a lot of replaying events, even overthinking to the point of being a little bit destructive, like thinking things into being that didn't actually happen. So be very, very, very careful. This can be a time where you need to embrace a new way of understanding relationships, like really new ideas in the ways people can fit together, um, and even using this energy to travel, to expand your mind. I would be saying as well, like, if you haven't been exercising this week, if things have been felt really heady, get out and get into your body. Go to a yoga class, go for a run, go for a walk, go plant yourself on the ground. It's a really good day. I mean, more movement than planting yourself on the ground. It's a really good day to move. You can find with Venus in Swati until the 18th of November, the mind is getting really fixated on what the future looks like. Like, just remember, it can't know. As much as we love to project what we think the future is, that brings us suffering, and we don't know what the future is. It is always changing. That's a guarantee. It will never be what you think it is. So really slow down. The mind can feel like quite disembodied with Venus in Swati. So do your best to quit the overthinking, get into your body, be really present with what's in front of you instead of what you are projecting onto a situation. Because when you're projecting it onto the situation, chances are something destructive is going to happen. So that is that. I'm going to finish with this. Now, if you want to know what 2026's astrology holds, I'm going to be opening up the Oracle again. It will be in January. It's open for registration now. The details are below. This is going to be a little bit different from the previous yearly forecasts I've been doing. This is going to be a half-day online retreat. It will be using embodied astrology, the goddess asteroids, as well as the sidereal slash Vedic astrology to help you plan your year, to understand the key transits for the year, but also the fluctuations of the planets through the nakshatras. What are they saying? How can you consider maybe how you look at life this year, where you go on holidays, how you plan what's happening for you? And not just through theory, but also through your embodied experience of hooking into your own wisdom. Because this is such a tight retreat, I'm limiting it to 10 to 15 people so that we all have the opportunity to interact with one another, to talk about what's going on in our charts, to be able to understand and share our wisdom. It will be recorded, but if you're only there for the replay, you won't be available to hear the group wisdom share because it's private. I'm just going to leave that for those that attend live. If you do get the replay, you'll get the replay of the entirety of 2026's astrology. You'll get all the meditations that go with it, but you just won't hear the back and forth of the group dialogue. If you feel called to come along, all the details are below. I would love to have you there. It's going to be a very special, sacred place. I'm always excited by the people that show up, who comes into group, and the energy that we bring together, because when we come into group to do something like this using embodied astrology, we can dive into such a deep level altogether. So anyway, that all said, I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, and for those of you that are wondering when we're going to be doing, I push back doing um black holes and self-inquiry. I'm going to do that early next year. There's stuff I want to do with the night sky around it, and I'm realizing that the sun's alignment with the galactic center is not going to be quite right. We want to do it when it's almost like the anti-center so we can look up into the night sky and see it. All right, I hope you have a wonderful week.